it's funny because it's like you expect them to release news straight away on where they're going.
Yeah.
You almost want to stagger it so it doesn't get lost. I tell you what, it's not easy changing. It takes a really long time. I remember, obviously, I was head to toe DMR for years and years and years, 13 years or something when I signed for Focus. And it was really difficult to move on to a point where people knew instantly. It was like, that first year, it was like really hard to... every time someone would come up and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing on that Focus? I'd feel like, a stabbing pain, like, I'm not doing my job well enough. I need to be better. I need to... So I think I really like... I'm very loyal to sponsors, first of all, because I hand-pick them with people that I get on with and brands that I know are good. And then I feel like then you can just keep chipping away, working at getting better, and eventually, hopefully, you end up... The idea would be to end up like Hans Ray, where you only have to look at him and you just instantly know what it is.
This is part of the furniture.
GT, Luck, clutch pads. You know what I mean? Cliff Bar. Like instantly, all of those brands come up. So
it's true.
It almost makes your job easier.
What was like some of the, when you first moved to Focus? What were like some of the biggest differences between riding on DMR and then going to Focus, which obviously is a bigger company, it's more of a corporate company. Were they owned by the Pond Group then as well? I think they probably were. No, they weren't. Okay.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
It was a lot more corporate. I think and this by no means comes as like this isn't. I'm not throwing shade on DMR by any means. I'd started there when I was 17. I was a complete moron. I didn't know how things worked. My bikes were in terrible condition. I didn't understand my purpose. I was just like 17 and I was like, I'm fucking... I can win contests and I'm the man. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like back then, you're 17. You have no idea.
You haven't got a clue what's going on.
You don't know why you're even sponsored. You're just there doing it. And then, and so, I've grown up in that company and I still work with them today. And like, I think by the time I switched to Focus, I had moved on a lot and I was a lot more professional, but it's impossible for those guys to kind of view me in that way because they saw me so much. I'd become part of the furniture. So the biggest thing that when I changed was this kind of like renewed interest in me as a person and the things that I can do and my purpose within a company. And it was really positive.
And did they approach you, right? It didn't go...
Yeah, they approached me. Yeah.
Okay.
It was for Suzuki 9 Nights at the time. And
right.
Focus had sponsored a feature. I mean, it was the perfect storm, really. They had sponsored this horrible feature, right-hand hip, big Focus logo on it. They've got no one to send.
Is that
they can use in the posters.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
That photo means something to me because that hip was why I got my job.
Can we put that in the studio? Should we have that in the studio? Like that thing as like a reminder. That'd be like really sick.
That'd be wicked, yeah.
Let's do that.
Because it really, really represents a moment for me because it was, I guess you could say I'd risked, I'd sort of like just plodded along a bit at DMR, not anyone's fault. It was just, I'd been there so long that it was this, and then this renewed interest was like scary but good. It was a big risk. I hadn't ridden or even seen the bike when I first turned up, which was meant to be my trial at 9 Nights. And then there's this huge feature, right-hand hip, super dangerous. No one wants to ride it. It's got a Focus logo on it. I have to if I'm going to get the contract. So it was all like it was. Like,
you ride it on a Focus bike too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh right. So
absolutely, that was my first thing. But it was all kind of secret, and it was this sort of in between. And it was like, who else is? They only had the Jam at that stage, the same as Pinky here.
Yeah.
And it was all like, who else? Who would really want to ride that on a? Interestingly, what really was my benefit was that I wasn't a free rider that likes full face helmets and downhill bikes. Like that's super important to so many free riders. Just the aesthetic of it. A downhill bike and a full face is very important. Like not only for riding, but for a number of reasons. Like the brand has that sort of image, whereas I wasn't really ever bothered by that. I come from dirt jumping and downhill.
Okay.
So just a 150 to me, a 150 is just like the bike.
Yeah.
So regardless of what bikes you give me, I'm going to just choose a 150 because I don't want millions of bikes. I want a 150. And then if you put a big jump in front of me, I'm going to want to jump it on my 150 because I don't care. I don't care about. So really, back then, there weren't many people that would have been up for it because their range wasn't as big and whatever.
Just the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I'm thankful to still be there today.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's nice to know a bit more context behind that photo, but let's for sure have that. We can have that in the studio, can't we?
Yeah, that'd be wicked, yeah.
Reminder every time we go in there.
I mean, that photo as well is... I got on a lift at 4 a.m, shitting myself. There's ice on the ramp. We're waiting for sunrise. There's a lot of things that I remember really vividly because it was mega scary.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it was cool actually. Quite exciting part of life.
Yeah, for sure. Is that, I guess, something we didn't talk about? I came down to visit the other day. We did a little day, little Surrey trip for the boy, and I guess for our audience out there, we have officially started.
Yeah, dude.
Wood going on walls, and there's equipment been purchased behind the scenes already and stuff. So it's an exciting time. There's a plan in place. There's exciting shit going on. We've got new people involved, which we're going to talk about at some point really soon. Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type The Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!